Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. As promised, I've got a team here with my Shiny Shadow Cacturn on lead and then two Shadow Fire types in the back. So this should be some really fun gameplay. This meta's a little bit tricky to run fire types in because of how many water types there are and like how many just oppressive fire types there are as well that threaten my Cacturn. So we'll see how these battles go, but I can give you all a little bit of a hint that these were some pretty electric battles. Really fun gameplay. Didn't necessarily win all of them, but all of the battles are really hard fought, really close. So really good set of battles to review. And starting off with a tricky lead, safe swapping into the Shadow Ninetales. This Shadow Ninetales, we'll see, has got some bulk to it. It can take some hits. And I think we're going to get the first example of that here, where I'm like, okay, I did some solid damage. I might just let this go. And they throw the fly, and this Mad Lad survives on 1 HP as a Shadow. That was a stab fly coming in from Talonflame. So we get the Weather Ball off, pull the shield. I'm like, okay, this is a huge race of a start. So gonna probably send in the Cacturn. Ugh, get denied. We're just brutal. That's just how the game is right now. But I do believe that we'll get off scot-free with this because Incinerate takes too long to hit us anyways. Yep, so it's still free damage, free energy, and we'll see what comes in. They've gotten a Abomasnow, so I'm gonna try a little bit of a cheeky play and catch the Weather Ball. We catch something. My main thing was just trying to lock them into that fire move damage, and it still lands. So that's all I wanted. And then there's an Amoonguss in back. So I'm like, okay, Typhlosion can do some solid damage here. Just bait with the Thunder Punch, try and pull a shield. Pull the shield, and I'm like, okay, just get another Thunder Punch. Get this thing down low. I want the Cacturn to come in, use a shield, and just like farm it all the way down. And that should set it up to sweep the end game and get us the win against that oppressive ice type that normally would counter this thing pretty well. But as you can see, we get the farm down, and then bam, Dynamic Punch loaded, ready to go, take this thing out. And then this is pretty big overkill. Like that would one-shot an entire Abomasnow. So we could have thrown the Trailblaze if we needed to, but that worked. And then that was battle number 1 with a win, and let's see what we get into in the next one. Again, we're still floating around 2,500 elo, running triple Shadow teams pretty much constantly. It is quite a bit of a challenge, especially with how bulky the meta is. And here we can see a tricky lead. So I've just got to stay in, play this out, play the one shield out, I believe, unless they just go for the full farm. Throw the Trailblaze, pull a shield, or kill him. Or not kill him, sorry, but take him out. And then do my best to farm down with the Shadow Incinerates from Typhlosion. They do throw. It's probably going to be an Octazooka. Hopefully it doesn't debuff us. We get lucky. It doesn't debuff us, so I get the full farm. So we're on a huge sprint with this Typhlosion. And then in comes a Water type. I can threaten this thing pretty well with both of my Fire type Pokemon at back. So throw an Incinerate, throw a Thunder Punch, throw an Incinerate, throw a Thunder Punch. It's like clockwork at this point. And then I might pivot out into the Ninetales based off what they do. Yep, instant swap. They send in a Talonflame, so I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Throw the Psyshock, do some solid neutral damage, or get a shield, and then we can play it out from there. It does pull a shield, so I'm thinking, okay, we've got to live a move. Let's do it. Or I might actually shield this, fearing a Brave Bird, so I do shield it, and I'm thinking normally I win CMP, and we lose CMP against the Talonflame. That is back-breaking, and I think that cost us the game. Coming with the Typhlosion, they are debuffed, so I'm like, okay, maybe we can farm them down, but just not enough gas left in the tank. They get the farm down, we get the loss. But it was still a really close battle. If I got that farm down, or if I won that CMP tie, we should have been able to take out that Toxapex that wasn't back and then take another dub. Here, this is actually a pretty solid lead. I do play it like a little bit differently here and there, but they make things easy for us and swap out. So I just stay in with the Cacturn. I'm going to plan on just like ramping up until I take this thing out because, like I said before, Morpeko, huge momentum Pokemon. It really just generally takes a couple shields or a really solid matchup to take it out. So I'm fine with just ramping up my attack damage here and just committing to that removal of the Morpeko, which is just a huge threat. So here we are, just kind of sucker punching through it, really adding up damage-wise as we boost our attack moves. And then we'll see what the Pokemon has in the back, see if we can threaten with this just massive attack power. And it's a fire type, so I had to dip out of there quick. But again, Ninetales, pretty bulky for a Shadow type. So I'm just going to let this go. Easy. Didn't even hesitate. And then, oh, actually, I've got no shield, so didn't really have a choice. But I get a little just, like, bad mechanics. Like, it was just, I think, a miss on my part. But sneaking a whole Incinerate through, and I'm like, oh, brutal. but they've got no shields. I've got energy on the Cacturn, so I can just come in and take this thing out and just kind of get that threat off the field. And it's just that they're throwing it back, which we should be able to easily handle with the players that we have left on the team. So farm up a little bit. I'm forgetting now what their energy was at, so I just go for a quick kind of arbitrary catch right there. Not necessary per se, and I think, yep, they saw the catch. They saw the Incinerate sneak through. They were like, oh, this is over. So they gave us the concession there, and then that is win number 2. 1 loss in this set so far, so going pretty well. Again, double fire types is quite a pick. I know that there's a lot of teams running it right now, but they have Talonflame that we've seen a lot of, and that is a huge asset for fire types because it lets them resist the ground type damage that normally threatens them. But we don't have that coverage on our team, so we're a lot less weak to, or a lot more weak to ground type damage. And then here we go again, same deal. Safe swap into the Talonflame this time because I do like outpacing the Thunder Punch and just making the opponent give us either a shield or a lot of damage. They give us a shield, so I'm happy shielding back. Throw an Incinerate. They bring in a Toxapex. Again, we've got really solid coverage for this Pokemon, so I'm not at all displeased by this swap in by them. I'm just going to get 2 solid bits of damage on them. I think this is a CMP tie, so the opponent made a bit of a mistake. They should have just kind of committed at this point and gone for the full farm down, but we get lucky. They CMP tie us. They're forced to waste this energy, and then they undercharge it. So I'm like, okay, save the Talonflame. Maybe I can use it as a sack swap later. So bring in the Ninetales, and I guess we're not going to see here, but even a Brine doesn't really threaten us all that much on this Pokemon. So I'm just going to overfarm a ton and make this a really threatening Pokemon coming out of this match. So get the knockout with the Weather Ball after we've overfarmed a ton, put it into the red. They bring in the Talonflame, so I'm like, okay, quick Psyshock throw, take it out, and then let's see what they have in the back. And Ninetales is just going on an absolute rampage here, going for the 3-for-3 sweep against their Pokemon. Oh, but I safe swap into the Cacturn because I wanted to have 3 Pokemon against this guy's pretty meta-heavy team. Against my kind of like off-meta team, it just felt a little bit fun. So here we go with a bit of BM, no bubble, but we had that matchup. Science Seal delivered, so really good third win for the set. And then here we go into the final battle. Let's see what we can pull through. And again, this is what, like right below 2500 elo, so staying in the kind of competitive region. We can definitely see that there's a lot of high meta relevance in the opponents that I'm facing, so they never really give us the elo for free here. You have to work for it. And here we are, another bad lead, so same deal, safe swap in the Talonflame. This opponent plays it out a little bit differently though. They don't throw the fly, they just hot swap into the Toxapex. But again, I don't mind this all that much. I can really threaten with these Thunder Punches. So gonna throw these. They didn't fall for the CMP tie there, so not nearly as ideal for us, but we'll see what they want to do. They give us a shield, so I think I might even give them a shield here, even though I'm really low on the Typhlosion, just to get this Thunder Punch damage off. So, yep, throwing the Thunder Punch and getting some damage on this thing, or just grabbing the last shield. We just take it out. So I'm like, okay, they can come in, farm me down with the Talonflame, so I'm about to get out of here once that comes in. And yep, there it is. So they've got an energy lead on us now, so it makes it a little bit tricky. But we've got to make a decision here. Fly or Brave Bird? I shield, hoping for the Brave Bird, and it is. So that's a huge shielding decision. And then they bring in a Swampert, which is a pretty brutal Pokemon for the Pokemon that have remaining. Technically, we do resist their damage with the Cacturn, but Cacturn's so frail, and it's a Shadow Swampert that hits so hard, so even still, it would take us out. So I throw the Psyshock and then bait with the Weather Ball, force them to throw a little bit earlier for sort of reaching another Weather Ball, and then I think we've got a pretty clear win condition. Come in, farm down, and then throw, what, like, I think technically 2.5 moves, but I think they get 1 turn bring in here. We make the game-deciding catch on the Typhlosion. They throw the Flame Charge. They even undercharge it, but that's just not enough. We'll get the farm down, and that's just game over. So, yep, this is a, 4-1 set, which is pretty nice. And then we click through everything, get the rewards, get a free Totodile, so that's always huge. And then what does it bring us up to? 2508, so not too shabby. And then here we are, moving into the next battle set. And these are some pretty brutal battles. It's all just like neck and neck, just kind of fighting at every part of the battle to maintain some sort of advantage or play things out. I say swap from a Toxapex lead there, They bring in their Talonflame. That's great for me, but I misplay it. I get greedy, I overfarm, and they get their fly off first, which just really throws everything for a loop here. And I still throw the Thunder Punch, and now I'm going to throw one Incinerate, throw a Thunder Punch, like clockwork, like before. They just get to sneak in all of these Incinerates. That's, what, like 10 turns of energy and damage, 20 energy. So it's pretty detrimental for us. I don't really know what I want to do here, but I end up shielding. But I'm predicting that they're going to swap. So I swap. I make the prediction. It's the correct prediction, and they bring in their Toxapex. This is still a little bit brutal for us because they can just come in and farm down the whole way. Toxapex has an incredible matchup against my Cacturn, but we get it pretty low. And I'm thinking we've got the Thunder Punch stored. Let's just come in. Let's just take this thing out, get rid of all that energy, and then it's just pretty much Ninetales against the world here. So we're really hoping that we've got some good matchups in the back, and we'll see how it goes. They bring in the Talonflame, which is pretty scary again because they've got access to that Brave Bird, and let's see what they do. And it's a Brave Bird, but we live it, which is crazy. But then they come in, and they've got a Grass type in the back. So I think maybe I could have won that if I didn't blunder in the beginning with that greedy overfarm on Talonflame. Or not Talonflame, Typhlosion. We gave up shield advantage there, and that can really swing the momentum of the game. So that was just brutal on my part. I need to do better than that. But we've got more battles coming, so let's see how they go. Let's see if there's any similar mistakes or if it was all just kind of really tricky gameplay. And then here we go again with the Cacturn. Good lead theoretically, but let's see what the opponent wants to do. They stay in for a bit and then safe swap into the Talonflame. So I send in Typhlosion, and this time we're on the reverse. So we get the really, really good timing on the Incinerate. Get this Thunder Punch off before they get anything off, and it forces them to make a decision. So again, overfarm. I get the whole Incinerate through again, so I'm just going to click on the Thunder Punch immediately, and again, make the opponent... Oh, never mind, I overfarm. Now I guess we're making the opponent make a decision, and then we can see how the rest of this plays out. They give us a shield, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't want a double shield, so let's just come in, farm everything down, and then go from there. So who do I come in with? Cacturn? Okay, nice. They do get to a move, so I guess I just miscounted there. I was hoping I could get this farm down for free. Minus the damage taking, of course, which is pretty monumental. But they come in with a jump plow, so I'm like, okay, overfarm, try and catch the aerial ace. Failed it, but that's okay. Come in with the Ninetales. They outpace us, which is brutal for us, right as we're getting to the Psyshock. But we live it on 1 HP. That is insane. This Ninetales has just been tanking damage left and right. We get the Psyshock damage off. I'm thinking, okay, we can just farm this down, have 2 Dynamic Punch loaded, throw the first one, and it looks like it's a CMP tie. So this might end up being a loss, even though we made it. We had the energy needed to get the win. But they didn't. They just paused. They didn't fall for the bait on the aerial ace, and that is just all they needed. So they got the win. It was so close, like literally a frame difference there, and couldn't pull it off. But still a really hard-fought battle. That's awesome. So what can I ask for? And then going into the next battle here, again, always have to wait like a little bit with this elo, so it's not too bad. Another good lead. This is such a good Pokemon, though, that it's really just never a fun time fighting it. But then they come in with the Morpeko. So again, I'm just like, okay, I'll stay in. I'll ramp up my fast moves damage and just make the opponent make a decision. They throw the Aura Wheel, which is nice. They didn't bait, so they used up as much energy as they could there. And it makes it a little bit easier for us. I'm like, okay, maybe I can undercharge this and get some free farm. They shield, so it ended up not mattering. But now I think I'm just going to shield this and farm all the way down and see what comes into us and play it out from there. The Gastrodon in the back is still a huge threat to our Pokemon, so hopefully we'll be able to kind of not just have to sacrifice them in the back. But we'll see how it goes. Who do they come in with? Oh, it's a Turtonator. That is so difficult for this team. So I swap into the Ninetales. Tank a Dragon Pulse, I believe. And then, yeah, and look at that damage. That's pretty monumental damage. But we get the Psyshock off against the Gastrodon. So we can come in and threaten to take them out if they don't let us, if they don't shield this. So here we go. Nope, come in with a Typhlosion, which is crazy because we're taking so much damage from their fast moves. But we'll see how it looks. We throw the Thunder Punch, trying to pull a shield. They give us the shield, which is huge. So we come in, throw a fast move, throw the charge move, and then we can ramp up damage against this Turtonator. And we're going to get, I think, 3 boosted fast moves off. Yeah, look at that damage. In the yellow, we come in, we throw 2 incinerates, get the final charge move, and we throw the Thunder Punch. And it just looks like it's not going to be enough. They tank it on, like, what, maybe 5 HP. Such a close game again, but it's a loss this time. But again, just totally electric battles. This gameplay is out of this world in terms of, like, momentum, pacing, and just, like, everything that we're doing in these matches. So even though they're losses, I just want to upload these because they were just kind of really fun battles to watch. And hopefully next time we'll be able to get the wins. Here I tried for a cheeky little catch on the aerial ace, but they didn't fall for it. They just throw a frenzy plant. But now I think this lets me just farm all the way down. They don't get to another move, so I will take that. And then they're going to come in with their Quagsire again. And I've got so much energy, I can really threaten. I've got 2 loaded Shadow, Stab, Blast Burns coming from Typhlosion. Bam. That's like, what, 45%? 40% maybe? And then just, I've got another one coming right away. They don't shield it, so now it's just a 2v1. And it's a Toxapex, so this is still going to be tricky. But we'll see how it goes. They've got 2 shields. I'm coming in with the Cacturn because I've got an energy lead, so I'm just going to try and pull a shield and see what the opponent wants to do here. They give us the shield, and I'm like, I want to give more damage, but I also don't want to give them too much farm. So I throw two Sucker Punches, switch into the Ninetales, shield the first Brian that's coming through because they could have thrown a Sludge Wave, which would have done a lot of damage. So now, just farming up, shielding again, and then we're going to see what the opponent wants to do here. So throw the, what, Psyshock? Yes, throw the Psyshock, and then I think we might need to bait out of here just because of how our energy pacing is going to be. So, oh, no, I'm throwing it immediately. And then, I guess that, no, they've got no more shields left, so I throw the Psyshock. I think they're out of moves, so I swap out, catch the move, and then looks like we're going to be able to take this win with the fire type counter to a very, very meta-oppressive water type. And we see a lot of that on this team. These fire types are pretty well designed to handle a lot of the, just the water types. The ground water types, like, whole nother story, but the water types themselves, we can deal with pretty well with these fire types, which is kind of weird. And we got a Ferrothorn lead here. So we'll see what we want to do here. Farm up a little bit with the Cacturn. Try and get cheeky, but I think... Oh, I realized that they were farming up so much. This might be a flash cannon. So I catch and swap it. Or I swap and catch it on the Typhlosion, which is huge. That's a lot of energy wasted. And they throw immediately here. So I'm like, okay. Like, I really don't mind that. Their Ferrothorn's pretty low, so if it comes back in, I can just continue to farm. So I'm thinking, time for a 2-shield fast break with Cacturn. We're going to come in, immediately boost our damage, and then see what the opponent wants to do. They shielded, but I'm like, that doesn't really matter. We get to this one, we win CMP against Morpeko, which is kind of a wild concept. Morpeko is so attack-weighted, but so is Cacturn. And then I'm like, okay, easy shield here. Cacturn is about to go on a spree. So, still going to farm down this Morpeko. They do realize that we're going to get the full farm down, so they switch out, but we just farm that the whole thing down. And then now they've got a Molga in the back, and look at this fast move damage. It was 4 Sucker Punches to get them to 50% HP. We throw that Dynamic Punch. This is totally going to get the knockout, and we farm down the Morpeko. So I think that was, what, 2 different battles where we had one of our Shadow Pokemon go on a 3v1 sweep. But like I said, they were really challenging battles, so we only got the 2 out of 5 in that one. Not as positive of a set, but still just, I think, a really good set of battles. Some blunders here and there, but we'll learn, we'll get past those, and then we can just focus on bringing this Shadow content to YouTube and kind of sharing the experience with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. These are really fun battles. I've got some more sets with the fire types, and then I've been mixing up here and there, so we'll have some funkier battles coming our way over the next few days. But until then, have a nice night, and I'll see you.